What's up, guys? I'm back, you know, and I kind of wanted to I elaborate last time on what I was and kind of what I stood for. But this video is going to kind of more be focused and towards on what to do with art, just in the everyday real life scenario. Uh, I went to college, got my degree in Bachelor of Studio Arts. As I mentioned briefly in my last video, I was a teacher for 5 years, and the last year and a half it got really political and bad, and I kind of saw from my perspective how rigid and inflexible the American educational system is. Not just from where I was at, but just kind of as a holistically standpoint compared to the rest of the world. Not knocking it because teachers are doing the best they can. It's not an easy job, but the way that things were ran, I just felt that we could do things better. And I knew that me being an artist and being true to myself, that kind of environment I would never thrive in, or what I have to offer would never be viewed as value. So I just kind of took a chance and walked away, you know. And it was a lot of traditionalism, a lot of childishness, a lot of just, go along, get along. I'm not with that. But the point I'm making is, even when I worked as a teacher, for the years I did work in there, the world today doesn't view art in a important standpoint of view. Like, it's losing its credibility. Not credibility, but just people's don't understand what the impact of art really is. It's not just drawing and doodling on paper. It's not just you spraying stuff and making a mess with paint everywhere. It is a process. And ultimately, through any artwork that you do, it's not most of what you create, is what you find through your creation. It's how you layer yourself as you work on a picture, because in order for you to make art, it's a sensory thing. You got to tap into your mind, go to what you see. Example is, you got to really sit back and dissect yourself. You're really invested in the arts. You have to sit there and you have to kind of like, you know what? If I'm going to draw this, why do I feel this way? What am I trying to say? What am I trying to paint? What am I trying to do? How do I even get this started? Like, I can't draw a circle. That's the thing about art. It's going to be challenging. And outside of art, just off a canvas standpoint, it's hard to do in the job market. For some reason, the job market, unless you're like concept art, graphic design, animation, cinematography, photography, custom body and paints, painting houses, they're not really looking at art for all that it can offer. And a lot of it has to do with the oversaturation of just the amount of stuff. I'll just come out saying the amount of bullshit we let slide and call it art because a person's funding it, or because we know a person that know a person, and the lack of people that don't. It's a lack of connection between people that don't do art and do art, and they don't understand one another. Like, I was a 3-sport athlete. I played sports all my life, but I've drawn my entire life. And I didn't know that back then where I lived at. I thought you had to play a sport to be something in life. But then I realized art is a path that I can be my truest self, and I can offer so much more to the world, and I ain't got to really go out there and run and kill myself and break my leg and jam other fingers, Because as artists, you don't need them. Art helped me to think about stuff long term instead of just in the moment. It can me think of things from not just on this perspective, but on different spectrums of life, like socioeconomic, socially, culturally, ideology. Like, art has helped me form a huge ideology about myself. Like, for example, back in the day, you was watching Marvel's barely coming out the cut. They had Blade, Spider-Man's coming out. People were still heavy on cartoons. Like, anime with manga was just starting to kind of in the mainstream. You watch Dragon Ball Z back in my time. I was born in 94, so 2003, 2004, Dragon Ball Z came on Toonami. You get picked on for that. Well, I did. Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Hakusho, G Gundam, Naruto came out. Yu-Gi-Oh! You was Naruto run through the hallways with Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. You got picked on. But nowadays, the world is so different because anime and manga has helped bridge that gap between art. It has created a culture where you have to acknowledge it for what it is. And the storytelling is elite. Like, we get the same Superman story over and over and over again. Superman saved Lois. Superman saved Lois. Superman hate Lex Luthor. I've been seeing Superman, Lex Luthor fight my whole life. I can go to anime, and it could be, even if the theme is the same, I get something different from it every single time. Naruto is a great anime, but it's not like One Piece. One Piece is a great anime, but it's not like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is a great anime, but it's not like Cowboy Bebop. But they all have layered and fleshed out storytellings within those shows that stick with you, that go with you. Like I grew up on Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop taught me some lessons that I still take to this day. You gonna carry that weight? You're not lying. The way you live your life and the decisions you make, you gotta kind of grin and bear it. Cowboy Bebop is, as fun as it is, it's actually a more introspective and kind of sad show in some way because all those characters lost pieces of themselves and they're trying to move forward with what they had to go through. Naruto is, honestly, it just depends on how you look at it. You could have been a Sasuke that lost a family, had to go start off. You could have been Naruto that got bullied and picked on with things out of your control. You could have been Kakashi who had to be humbled and mature to take the future. You could have been Jiraiya that, sometimes the guy don't always make it to the end. Like, the point I'm making in all this, I'm not trying to be off topic, is the fact that art is not just suds and circles and doodles and drawings. Yes, it's part of the process, but it's more so a story. It is more so what you find through the process of making a story. And we have a lot to offer. Like, a lot of artists it's hard for them to get, in my area, to get 9-to-5 jobs. Like, I was an art teacher for 5 years, and it's like, I know I have the experience of a teacher. I coached 3 sports and I also taught English. But for some reason, it's hard. I'm not complaining because I get up and I apply for jobs, I work out, keep myself up, but it's not easy, y'all. And there's a lot of reasons why art has a lot of hard time because it's not understood. It just looked at from one perspective. Oh, he just draws this. He just drawing cartoon characters. Do you know the process it takes to come up with that stuff? Do you know what it takes to sit down and take a blank sheet of paper and turn that thing to a universe? Like a Dragon Ball Z, a Spider-Man, a Batman. Hell, even graphic novels like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Somebody had to sit down and plan all that out and then design the costume, design the set. The house you're in right now is designed by art. Art is not just some pastime you do. Art plays a major part in our day-to-day living. And people don't understand that. And the worst part is we have artists that are talented but don't know what to do with it. Master P said something that kind of stuck with me. He was like, there's no money in music no more. Like, if you stream, like, he said 1 million streams, like maybe $3,000. I'm like, that's kind of sad. I'm quoting, don't quote me, that's just a loose number. But he said something else too that stuck with me. He said, product outweighs talent. And that's the problem. We've been taught how to draw. We've been taught how to sketch composition. We've been taught by Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Picasso, Leonardo. We've been taught about Keith O'Haron, Basquiat. We've been taught about all of these guys. Andy Warhol, Kerry Jane Moss. Which are all good artists, but they don't teach us how to apply it in the real world that constantly changing the shift every day. Like, when I was born, Procreate wasn't around. Toon Boom wasn't around. Animation industry wasn't as big as it is now, Like Studio Ghibli and, like, people that did Akira, that was Evangelion, that was a pretty big group, but that wasn't the case like that nowadays now. How do you teach these artists that have these amazing talent to make money off of that when they can't barely get a job at McDonald's? I'm not saying, like, and maybe that's the point, it's the application of what you do with it. That's why I say college does help. But if you're just super talented, like, say, Lionel Francis, Tidy Kubo, Trad Moore, if you just meet the right person, you're in the door. That's just the reality of it. As far as contemporary museums and modern art, I just feel it's really network-based, and I'm not complaining. But at the same time, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it, I'm not going to complain about it. The point of the matter is you take your talent and you apply it to a product or to a place that needs it. You find a target demographic audience and you attack the audience. Or you make a product, make an audience, and maximize that audience to where you constantly making money and making it rotate. That's what I had to learn on the fly. Like, when I became an art teacher and took an art program, I didn't get a lot of funding. I didn't get a lot of support. I had 70 kids in the program, and we hardly had anything. I had to do local stuff to build up to it. And what I did, I just took the money and made it rotate. And the money we made, I made enough for the club, and my students made enough money to where they can go home with money in their pockets. As long as 10% go back to the club, which goes straight to field trips and art shows and fees. And people don't understand it because art is such a misunderstood subject. Sometimes it's hard to sell. Because, oh, I could draw that too. Oh, abstract, I could throw it on the board and splat that up, you know. And I partly blame mainstream art today. Because, yes, we appreciate that, but somewhere along the line, we got to hold them accountable. If they're an established artist that has been making art and they decide to do that on the side of the spectrum, I get that. If you're some random person just throwing pen on the thing because you know a rich auntie uncle, we got to call a spade a spade. We got to call bullshit when we see it. And that's the problem with art. We've got the perception has been so skewed and viewed. We think the majority speaks for the minority, and it doesn't. Some of the best artists you see are not in museums. They're on the streets. They're in the corners. I know a guy that can, oh my God, he can draw anything. He worked at a Starbucks as a barista. I buy art from him every year from the comic shop. Because the application of art has not been taught properly. And if it is taught properly, a lot of people don't have access to that kind of stuff because it kind of falls into business, which is just a hard thing. You got to look into it and find it out, but it's hard, man. Art is so much more than what people want it to be. Art is who we are. Like, the way that artists think and view the world is not the way that the average person views the world. The person that, go to school, get married, support my kids, work a 9 to 5, retire and die. Artists are not thinking like that. They have seen life from so many different perspectives and so many things. Not to mention, if they're musicians, if they're designers, animators, comic book artists, they are not viewing the world in that light. Their world's not even viewed that because a lot of their time is devoted into thinking outside the box, to thinking to obscure and perpendicular ideas that the world do not teach us to do. They teach us to get a job, get a skill, get a trade, which is not wrong. It's not wrong. I'm not knocking it. But artists can also do those things and do more because of how they see the world and because of their skill set. They have a skill set that everybody kind of just take for granted, but everybody cannot do. Everybody can't play music. You can learn, but chances are you won't be the next Prince. Let's be real. What guy you know here playing 70 different instruments? You won't see another Michael Jackson no time soon. The point I'm making is this. You won't see another, nowadays you probably get another Mona Lisa because the world of art and access to what the artists done in the past is more accessible. Therefore, kids that don't have museums can turn around and draw Mona Lisa spot for spot. But the point I'm making is this. We have a skill that is highly complicated to do, but people don't highly compensate us. All right. And the guy I watched in the video, he was always saying something that's true. He said, I can teach you technical ability, but I can't teach you creativity. And that's the problem. People don't respect creativity and what it really entails. Because if they did, they'll market it differently. Anybody can learn to draw. Anybody can learn to sketch, but to think like an artist, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you do on paper. There's people that never had a father figure that Master Splinter was their father figure. Alfred Pennyworth was their father figure because they're reading these stories and in real time to learn a lesson that people are not there to give them. I'm not saying this to sound extreme or crazy, but to people that read and indulge in this kind of stuff, people that read Harry Potter books, Chronicles of Narnia, Lemony Snicket, stuff like that, they have attached themselves to figures. Like, I like to dress in suit and ties, which I'm in my house right now. But when I work, I wore a suit and tie 3 days of the week. Because of Spike Spiegel, Sanji Vinsmoke, John Wick, who's another one? Mr. Knight, the Moon Knight alternate reality. I love guys that can dress well, characters that can dress well, that can go out there and kick ass, you know? Some art styles, an artist right now is going to make a character that a kid can relate to. Think about it. When Akira Toriyama made Vegeta, he was supposed to die. 30 years later, past death, people still fucking love Vegeta. Not because of his designs. His design is kind of cold. It's not cold. But for what he stood for. And the growth he had within that. Zuko from Avatar. because of his growth. It's so many characters, bro. Miles Morales, because he's not only does he struggle like Spider-Man, but he's a minority. So his story is a lot more different and difficult. And he lost a father figure. It's just so many things that go into it that people don't realize. And that's the issue. So I would say this to any of my struggling artists, believe in yourself. And my shout out to my friend DJ Alpha Stylo. One, we went to college together. He's my best friend for almost 10 years. He said, you got to study artists, take classes, sharpen your skills, step outside your comfort zone, network, do things that you're uncomfortable doing. He does that. He renders every night. He working the FedEx job. He goes and renders right after that. He has a Discord right after that. Art is something that is not going to come overnight because it takes a lot of years to just even get decent. Some people have it. Like, there's some people that never took a class or course and can draw masterpieces like it's nothing because it just comes naturally. There's some people that got to, like me, I had to draw up to it. I've been drawing since my second grade, since 2001 till now. I draw comic books. I do digital art. I have drawn my ass off because this is what I do. Art is not just a job I want to do. It is who the fuck I am. Everything, every way I see the world, everything I think is because of art and what it's done for my life. It has saved my life. It has allowed me to meet so many different people and have so many conversations that will stick me forever because we view the world in a different light. And unfortunately, the world we live in with America, unless it benefits them or they need a logo or something, or tattoo, which tattoo business is booming, so I can't really knock it. That's the only time they look to really see the appreciate art, aside from architecture, graphic designs, and movies and cinematography. But you guys just take it. I know it's discouraging. It's hard. It's gonna be hard. Like, if you're trying to be an artist, like I'm telling you right now, I'm living it. It's hard. I have to wake up every day, look for a job, get rejected. You know, which I chose to take. I chose to pursue a degree. That's on me. But it's something I love to do. And at the time, you know, I'm the first in my family to go to college, so I didn't know all the stuff that I know now. I was happy to get into college. But college taught me how to focus, how to manage my time, how to properly vet people, how to protect my artwork, how to protect my mind, because so many people in college will try to get you to do stuff that you don't want to do. To where now I'm just a fearless, independent person, and people don't like that. But because I've had my art scene on, I've learned who I am through my art to where I have to be honest with myself. And I have to be honest with other people. And the world doesn't share a lot of those views now because if you notice, it's just, you know, a lot of stuff going down. But you guys, I don't want to ramble. Find a target audience. Take your artwork and put it to a product. Turn it to a product somebody need or they need to use, or something that they use every day, and attack it. Network. Find people that's like you. Bounce ideas. Improve yourself. And lastly, draw. Stay consistent. No matter what. If you working at a warehouse job, you working in a manure site, you working in construction, draw. Create. Even if it's just for 30 minutes of a night, you dead ass tired, draw. It goes a long way because when you put the pen down for a while, you pick it back up like, oh shoot, I got better. I could do that. Oh, I didn't know I could draw that. Just do it, y'all. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's brutal. But I'm talking to my artists here. If you love something, man, you just can't part from it. You can't put it down. You know. It's in you. It's in your blood. You can look at the sky and get an idea. You can look at a show and get an idea. You can look at a shoe like, oh dang, I got a new character. Because it's the way you think and perceive stuff. It's not just you drawing and painting. It's the way you view life. It's who you are. So with that being said, you know, stay true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Like my professor used to say, be good people and do good things.